Hey everyone, welcome to Inside the South Florida Collegiate Baseball League. I'm Lisa Pride, and I'm alongside Freddy Rodriguez, who is with the Matadors here in the league. Thank you so much for joining me, Freddy.
Thank you for having me. It's fun. It's gonna be fun. Thank you for having me here. So
Local product from Wellington, Florida. So you know this area and this league probably pretty well, like the ballparks that you'll be playing in, because you're fresh off the College World Series, coming into the South Florida Collegiate Baseball League. But a lot of the ballparks you've seen, high school wise and travel baseball wise.
oh
So
yeah,
you'll be familiar going right into it.
one hundred
But we
percent.
really want to know about the College World Series and that whole experience in Omaha. What was it like?
Yeah, I mean, it was an unbelievable experience. Like just especially the first couple days, like when every team is there, all the fans are there. The streets were like nonstop packed, like 24/7. Like there was people outside, having beers and just enjoying the time there. And the stadium, I mean, the stadium was just unbelievable. Like playing in front of 25,000 people every day, every game. It was awesome. It was definitely a once in a lifetime experience that I'm never gonna forget.
Yeah, I
So
know Omaha just embraces, the College World Series and all the schools that are coming in, the athletes.
oh yeah.
You guys were probably like celebrities walking around, right?
We actually, yeah, we were. There's a lot of kids everywhere, like we had the coastal gear on and all of a sudden they're like, "Are you a player?" And we were like, "Yes." And they're like, "Can we get a picture? Like, can you sign our balls?" And it was cool. It was cool. You can see how happy they got when they would run into the players everywhere. So it was fun.
And then
Yeah.
the legend just kept growing as you guys kept winning. You had that 26 game winning streak all the way through playoffs, regionals, and into the College World
Yeah.
Series.
It
So I think
was
that's why fans really locked in too.
oh
The
yeah.
kids wanted to be around you guys.
Yeah, everybody was like, "Oh, we're rooting for you guys," stuff like that. Because I mean, what we were doing, it was unbelievable. Like 26 games in a row. I'd never even heard. We haven't lost since. If you put it, it was. I think we were saying we haven't lost since April,
Mhm.
and we were July at the time or June at the time. So it was like, do we know? I don't even know how to lose. Like it was funny because just kept winning baseball games. So yeah.
Yeah, I can't even imagine having that streak. I was thinking about it. Where did you guys have superstitions then? Like, what were you guys doing in each game?
Yeah.
Let alone your same routine. But I think it's hard to keep up. Some of those same routines. Like you're going to keep wearing the same socks and not washing them, or something like that for 26 games.
Yeah, so we had the same routine. Like Coach Schnall, like he was big on just winning the day, like just winning, like focus on the next day, focus on the next game. So we didn't really like pay attention to like the winning streak, but we did have some funny superstitions. Like my teammate Sebastian Alexander, the night before he had a burger. Like so for 26 like games straight, he the night before the game he would eat a burger every day. So it was funny like that, and that's pretty much the only superstition. Like I said, we were just there wasn't for us there wasn't really any superstitions because like we just kept winning. So like it was like yeah, but that was the funny one where he had a burger
Did
every
it have
single
to be a
day.
certain burger
It's
though?
just a
Because
cheeseburger.
just
No,
a
just
cheese.
any
Okay,
burger. He's like,
because
I
if it
gotta
had to be
find.
a certain like
Yeah, like we were.
chain or a
Yeah,
franchise, and you guys could have been in
no,
trouble
yeah,
there.
we were just in the hotel. He's like, dude, I gotta find a burger to eat, and so it was funny. But
Yeah, you gotta
yeah,
load them up on the burgers.
yeah.
What about for yourself? Did you feel like
For
okay, you needed to do something, or that
for
could hurt
myself,
the
no,
team at all? Or
no, no, I didn't have anything. I was
Mhm.
just there. I was
Yeah.
just there for the ride.
As far as the adrenaline of it and the high of being there, what was that like for you too? You talked about the fans and the packed stadiums,
Oh yeah,
and then
so
yeah,
yeah, coming from Barry, I'd play in front of like 100, 200 fans maybe. At Coastal, at Springbrooks, it was a lot of good fans. It was like we broke a lot of records, like 6,000. But then when you get to Omaha, it's like the very first inning, like when I was in the dugout, I like looked around, and I was like, wow, like this is a lot of people. I'm like, I didn't think it would get like this packed, but there was like no seats open, just people everywhere. And we would take like infield, outfield before the game, and there's just everybody watching you. It was a pretty like cool and surreal moment. It was definitely the adrenaline was high
yeah.
once we started seeing the fans. Everybody started getting like hype, and actually, the national anthem was they had a stealth bomber jet, and apparently like just like it's rare. So it was so loud, like going over, and everybody like got hyped, and it was so loud, and that's when everybody was like so hyped because like, wow, this is loud, like this is
Yeah,
cool, like, and it was the very first game because we had the very
that's
first game of the week. So when we had that, it was like It was unbelievable. I was like, wow, we're actually here. Like, this is it.
Like
It
that was the
cool.
moment.
That was the
like,
moment.
Okay,
Yes.
we're actually here. We're
Yes.
actually,
And the crowd was
Series.
chanting like USA, USA, and I was like, wow,
like chills.
we're here. Yes, I had goosebumps and my hair was everywhere. It was awesome. So that's when that was the moment where I was like, we're here. Like, this is the biggest stage. So
what about as far as your coaches? How what was the talk like each game? At the College World Series, was it always a different talk, a different way to hype you guys up, or like how did you like stay with just focusing on the game and not everything else?
Yeah. Too? So Coach Schnall, he prepared us like really well. Like I said, we stayed on us. Like he was always like, stay on us, stay on our team. Doesn't matter who's in the other dugout. Doesn't matter who's out there. Just stay on our team. Stay with the togetherness of the team. And like I said before, it was always like a 1-day plan. Like, let's say if we had a game, let's say if it was Monday and we had a game Tuesday, we'd be like, okay, don't worry about the game Tuesday. Let's worry about our practice today. And then every day, that's how we took it. And just stay on us. That's what it was. Like, there's going to be a lot of people. Just as long as we stay with us and stay with our team, we're going to be fine. And it worked. So.
What game really stuck out for you? Like Louisville, Oregon State, what like?
I would say the finals with LSU. Like, it was actually a home game for LSU. There were so many LSU fans there, and there was not one seat open. I would say either the LSU game or the very first game when we played Arizona. Because, like I said, we were the very first team to play everything, and it was every seat was filled. So, yeah.
You were able to get in a couple games, one against LSU, in the championship, and another Louisville, I believe. And going out to pinch run, was your heart racing when you were on the bases?
A little bit, because coming from like coming from the dugout, they're like, Freddie, go run. I'm like, oh snap! So I was my heart was beating a little bit. I took a moment to like look at the crowd and everything, but it was fun. It was fun being out there, actually, being on the field and in the game. It was cool. So.
Yeah. And then I'm sure disappointing. You were so close to like, winning that championship and all. But now you're going into your senior year and you've decided to go into the transfer portal and come here and, get some more at bats in the South Florida Collegiate Baseball League. What is that like for you, that process, as far as to make that decision too? You just came off the high of the College World Series. You're playing with a program that you were very excited to be a part of, and just the whole wow factor of that, and great coaching and everything. So how hard was it to make that decision, and and when did you do that? And what are you thinking about?
I was going into the exit meeting, and just they were straight up like, here, like, listen, are you gonna be out? Are you gonna stay? Are you gonna be out? And then they kind of already like figured that I was gonna be out. Like, no, like, I don't regret going to Coastal at all. Like, Coastal is an unbelievable program. Like, the coaches there are great. Like, I would recommend any kid trying to go there. Like, it's an awesome program. It was just unfortunate, with the business side. I had to make a little bit of a selfish decision, and especially for my last year, for my senior year, I wanted to find somewhere where I wanted to, like, I was going to be able to play every day, have my name in the lineup every single day. And unfortunately, it just wasn't going to be with Coastal, which they were super supportive with it. Like, they said, if you need any help, let me know. And yeah, it's just, especially coming into my last season, I got to find somewhere where I want to play every day. So that's pretty much it. It wasn't no bad blood. Like, they said, call me whenever you need. Like, they completely understood. And yeah, that was just had to be a little selfish and
right. It's
into
your
the
last
portal.
year.
Yeah,
exactly. You only have one more year of eligibility.
Yeah, I don't have another.
And you really like want to like
yes,
play.
Ma'am,
I mean, that's what you love to do.
Exactly. So especially in my last year, I want to go all out and be the guy every day. So.
And this is your second time in the portal. You went from Berry University into the portal to Coastal Carolina. What is that experience like, and what can you tell like other athletes, like as far as what you've learned from being in the portal? Yeah.
So the biggest thing is, I feel like with athletes is kind of like they don't want to take that step in the portal because they're always like, what if nobody wants me? Like, what if I don't find a school? And that was me at the beginning. And then I would say, like, if I was to give any advice to like the athletes, just do it. Like, don't be afraid to take that next step. It is a risk. It is a risk entering the portal because you don't know what you're going to get. You don't know if it's going to be the perfect fit for you. But you got to take the risk, and take your time with it. Definitely take your time. Like, I kind of like rushed Coastal a little bit because, I saw Coastal and I was like, oh my God, yeah. But definitely take your time with it. And there's going to be coaches out there that are going to want you. And, just take your time with it and see where it gets you. There's no need to rush because, you know, you believe it or not, there's a lot of schools out there that you don't even know, that I didn't even know that. So yeah, I would say just do it, you know, like it's not a bad thing to do, you know. Just being selfish, being like, you know, thinking about your career, it's not a bad thing at all.
I think
So
too, like the academic side of it. That
yeah,
you know, how many times are you, you know, moving to different schools and
yeah,
things like that, and that has to be something that you're thinking about as far as, you know, money and how am I finishing school by
oh
doing
yeah,
this, and
yeah,
let alone, you know, getting
hmm
the playing time that you hope.
yeah. You're definitely gonna, especially just with the academic side, you know, some classes might not transfer over, so you just got to think about that. But the school part, the school aspect isn't really going anywhere. You know, like I tell my parents that, like, listen, if I have to do school over the summer, if I have to take another year to do school and finish it, I'm gonna do it. Like, but then they said no problem. Like, just worry about, you know, your baseball career first, and because the classes in school there aren't going nowhere. So I would say that you might get a little, like, you know, held back with
Mm-hmm.
transferring, like with the credits and stuff, but for a baseball career, if you really care about baseball, then you know you'll do that and make that sacrifice.
I think that that really is good advice and makes good sense too, because college will always be there, but you
Yes,
only have
but
four
you only have
years to,
exactly
you know,
yes,
live your dream and play, you know, college baseball or whatever sport it is that you.
yes,
So yes, you
exactly.
got to think about it in that way too,
hmm
and that you could always go extra for
Yes,
school.
school's
There's
bad.
always college out there.
Yeah,
You can
college
always
isn't
go to
going
school.
anywhere. Yeah, it's not going to go anywhere. So you could always
Right.
have time to finish that, you know. But
Mm-hmm.
like you said, you only have 4 years to, you know, live out your dream if you really want,
Mm-hmm.
if you really
And
want
then
it.
you've made some really good choices though that have worked out well coming out of high school at Palm Beach Central High School. That not getting a lot of attention or notice, but Barry did come calling, and that you weren't sure at first if that was going to be the right decision or not.
Yes,
You know, tell us how that worked out, because it seems like things have really worked out for you,
yes.
even if it didn't feel like it in the moment.
Yeah, so I wasn't heavily recruited out of high school at all. Like I had schools far away from home, smaller schools that I wasn't really interested in. And Barry actually emailed me back and they gave me a spot on the team. And I was still a little, I was like, is this it? But at the end of the day, I didn't really have like much of a choice to go there. So I was like, you know what, let me just try to go there and just try to work my way up in the program. And, you know, I ended up working out.
Yeah,
So
you had to start in JV.
yeah, I
So
had
it wasn't
so
even like you had, you know, a spot on the team yet. And
yes,
so, and you did that. You batted over like 500, I
yes,
believe, right?
ma'am.
And then was able that first year, your freshman year, then to go right away and play, and then and did really well in your
Yes,
sophomore year, led the team in batting average. So that really worked out and got you to Coastal, like you
yes.
said.
I give all my grace to, you know, Barry, because you know they actually gave me an opportunity that, you know, not a lot of people did. So yeah, they gave me a roster spot on JV, and you know I just kind of like bet on myself. I was like, okay, like this isn't gonna hold me back. Like I'm gonna work my way up, and I ended up doing that, and then everything worked out. But I really appreciate Barry, coaching staff, for, you know, giving me that opportunity at the next level.
And a lot of guys, you know, a lot of athletes work hard, but what is it that you did that you think really helped you as far as, you know, get the batting average that you had to like be able to push yourself
Yeah,
to, you know, excel?
yeah. I just think the first thing is always just confidence. Like baseball, excuse me. Baseball's obviously everybody knows baseball's a mental game. So I was just like as soon as day one, as soon as I got there, I just kept my head down. Like I didn't get all caught up in like, oh, I'm on the JV team. Like you're already like below everybody. You know, like I just got as soon as I got on the campus, I kept my head down, stayed confident. I'd be like, listen, like I know why I'm here. I'm gonna um, progress as the day goes. And, you know, obviously I had to work a little extra harder. You know, I was always in the cages, you know, for more work after practice. On my days off, I would hit the cages again. And I would have to be in the gym because I was definitely smaller than everybody too. I wasn't, you know, fully developed. I was always on the smaller side. So just little things like that. But I would say the main thing is my confidence. My confidence never went away, no matter if I was on JV, if I was on varsity, if I was a freshman. So confidence was definitely the top of my notch that helped me through the years.
And then now bringing that confidence to, you know, questionable as far as being in the portal, but you're coming here to the South Florida Collegiate Baseball League
Yes,
and coming to familiar territory, and also a familiar family, the Moraleses, that you'll
yes,
be playing on their team with the Matadors. What have they meant to you for your baseball career? I think they've been there for a lot of
yeah.
it.
So the Moraleses, they mean everything to me. You know, when I would say like 10, 11. I played for Elite Squad, and Mitch Morales was my coach. So we formed a good bond there. And then actually, Matt Morales. Then I got in contact. I think Mitch gave me Matt's number, saying that like, cause I wanted like lessons, you know, one on one, especially going into high school. Cause I think at the time I was going into high school, like getting ready to go for high school. So I was like, oh my god, you know, high school. Like, so Matt ended up giving me like one on one lessons for like, I would say a whole month straight. So when I was younger too. So you know, they've always been around. Like, love those guys. Like, they know they're very baseball heavy knowledge, and you know, just the relationship that I have with them, it was great. So it was fun that I'm gonna be able to play with them again, or play for them again. So it was
Yeah,
cool.
you'll see them at the field,
Yeah,
and right away, I'm sure they're excited to have you.
yeah,
I talked to them a few times. I'm like, is Freddie coming back? Yeah, I'm sure he's
yeah.
coming. And like, yeah,
So
so that getting the opportunity. What is it then? Your goals here in this last month of the season, and you coming in off of college in the South Florida Collegiate Baseball League.
yeah, so I just, like I said, I'm here. I just, I want to get as many at bats as I can. You know, coming off of Coastal where I didn't get much playing time, I just want to be out there. You know, compete, have fun, see pitching again. Obviously, you want to do really good. Hopefully, have a good batting average, and um, yeah. But the main thing is just me getting reps, me getting the feel back into it, heading back, for my final year. So
Yeah, getting back on the field too, defensively in the
yes, so
infield, and just going through those reps too. Yeah, so that'll be great. We're glad to have you,
yes, I'm
in the
very
league.
happy. I'm very happy to be there. And
That's
like you
fun.
said, with the fields, I'm familiar with pretty much
Right.
everything around, so it's gonna be good.
Probably some of the guys too
Yeah,
that you've played against,
yeah.
traveling
I
all
probably
wise
around that
or
whole
high
league, I have a
school.
lot of guys who I played against or played with. So
I'm sure guys because there's a lot of kids that are coming right out of high school that are playing now because they want to see what it's like to be a
yes,
college
hmm
athlete. So that'll be a way that you could even probably talk to them or give them some
yeah.
advice. They're probably going to want to talk to you
Oh,
about
for
it, right?
sure. Like, I'm always
If
open to talk to
Yeah,
anybody
especially
with
after
advice.
being in the College World Series, is that they
Yeah,
want to kind of find out what was that like,
yeah,
and being in the transfer portal now too, because I think a lot of the guys are in the transfer portal that are playing in the league and probably want to know what they should expect,
yeah.
or
Probably would
the
assume
same kind
so.
of going through the same emotions too of it and the choices.
Oh yeah, like I'm
Yeah.
gonna be open with everybody. I'm not a stranger to talk to. That's why I'm gonna be also in the league. Just if I need to help anybody, I would 100% do that without hesitation. So
What is it about baseball that you love so much?
yeah, so it's just, I don't know, like just being on the field. It's where I'm like happy, like, and it's just, I feel like baseball is such a hard sport that like when you do succeed is like the best feeling ever because of how hard it truly is. Like, obviously you fail more than you succeed, so then when you succeed, it's just like you just feel like the happiest kid in the world, and it's at the end of the day, it's a kid's game, and just being on the field just makes me it's just happy being out there, playing in front of my family, friends, and yeah, I'm very happy when I'm out there.
And then what is this though? You could have almost been a golfer instead. So
Yes.
how did this go down
Yes.
between
So
baseball and golf?
yeah. So the funny thing is, when I was in New York, I was still young. My dad actually wanted me to play golf, and my mom actually wanted me to play baseball. So my dad was a huge golfer, so he just wanted to, just maybe I liked it. So I always did both. And then there was one day where my dad had a golf club, or a golf club, and my mom had a baseball bat. And I was like standing like in the middle, and they let me choose, and I ended up running straight to my mom. So that's when my whole baseball career started. So ever since I was young, I always loved the game. And then my dad was a little mad. My dad was a little upset. He's like, "Dang!" But then he actually started, coaching me and make me the player I am. So it actually ended up working out
And
fully.
so he's gotten to be a part of your
Yes,
baseball
he's
journey. So
definitely been.
he feels good about
Yeah,
it.
I always give my mom credit because my mom's like, "Who's the one who taught him? Who's the one who got him into baseball?" And he's like, "Yeah, you're right, you're right." So I give him credit, for coaching me, but I also give my mom credit for getting me into the game.
Well,
So
we're glad that you chose the baseball bat and that
yes,
you're here in the South Florida Collegiate Baseball League with
yes,
us. Well, thank
yes.
you so much, Freddie, for joining me here today on Inside the South Florida Collegiate Baseball League.
Of course. Thank you for having me. It's been fun.